Water Unite's mission is to help ensure every person on the planet has access to clean water and safe sanitation in a world which is free from plastic pollution. Water Unite's simple voluntary micro-levy of around 1 cent per liter from sales of bottled water provides an innovative funding solution to address these challenges. Through uniting retailers of bottled water, we believe we can achieve our mission within the next decade. With the global bottled water market forecast to grow 27% to 576 billion liters by 2023, the micro-levy of just 1 cent per liter can raise over $5 billion annually to drive meaningful global change. There is a growing international consensus that we must act now. Partner with us today, so together we can change the world tomorrow.
Well, welcome, ladies, gentlemen, and your excellencies, the ambassadors, to this convening hosted by Water Unite. We're very pleased you could join us. We're especially pleased to welcome a wide variety of guests from a range of retailers, government representatives, NGOs and associations. I'd like to start by introducing the chairman of Water Unite. He was a member of Parliament through 7 general elections and brings a wealth of experience in political leadership and partnership creation across political, private and development sectors to Water Unite. Since 2015, he's been a peer in the House of Lords. So I'm very pleased to introduce Lord Malcolm Bruce.
Thanks very much for that introduction, Adam. And Excellencies, Lords, ladies and distinguished guests, I really am delighted to be at this great event, which is, I think, groundbreaking and very exciting and has the potential to transform how we deliver water and sanitation and recycled plastics in developing countries in the coming years. And I'm very, very grateful for you attending, and I hope what you're going to hear today will make you as excited as I am about the project that Water Unite is leading and the partners we already have who are delivering. I have the privilege to be the founding chairman of Water Unite, and when I was asked to do the job, I was genuinely excited at the concept. I've spent years working in development and realised what a huge investment requirement there is if we're going to deliver water and sanitation and indeed reusable plastic and recyclable plastic, particularly to poorer countries, but across the world. And frankly, all the money from the development agencies in the world is not going to be enough. What we need to do is to bring together consumers and users and retailers and suppliers and governments and private sector in a really, really exciting and innovative way to deliver the kind of projects that will ensure that the millions of people who need clean water and sanitation and want not to be polluted by plastic in countries where the resources are stretched will be able to get that at scale. And we're talking about the potential for hundreds of millions, if not billions of pounds, from a very simple concept, which is that for every sale of bottled water, every bottled water sold, a 1 cent levy will go to a fund which will form the nucleus of how we deliver these very exciting projects. And that means that the ordinary consumer will be actively delivering funding to deliver the clean water and sanitation that people need. Now, how's that going to happen? It's going to happen because the flow of funds from the consumers through the retailers will be empowered by participation with an impact fund, which will unlock both private sector money and deliver really upscale investment. So we're not just talking about small wells, but ultimately large-scale projects to deliver clean water and sanitation. And we're looking to governments, you as ambassadors, and your governments, specifically to help in the dialogue to encourage retailers that may operate in your country to sign up to this very exciting concept, to ask the supply chain in your country maybe to look and see whether even if the retailers, major retailers, are not operating as retailers in the country, they may well be acquiring supplies and therefore they're engaged in the country, and it would be good for a dialogue that would encourage them to participate because it would be beneficial to projects in your country potentially. And we're obviously looking to have that kind of dialogue, which will help us to upscale this to deliver what is required over the coming years. At the moment, we're in the middle of a pandemic, which is why this is a virtual event. And we are facing enormous challenges, not least because quite a lot of the funding from development organisations and governments is being squeezed because of the pandemic. So it makes it even more important that we find other ways of finding funds that will make this big difference. So I hope you will agree that this is a really exciting, innovative venture, a very simple concept if people will come together to deliver it, and one that can, by partnership, add value, and by public and private sector, governments, agencies, retailers, suppliers, finance companies, all coming together, we can deliver a really, really major improvement, which will help the health, the well-being of people across the world, and will achieve those sustainable development goals, or certainly give us a real chance of doing so, in ways which, frankly, without this kind of innovation, will be very, very difficult, if not impossible, to achieve. So I hope you agree with me that it's exciting. I hope you will want to engage with us on a one-to-one basis and help us reach the partners that will make the difference. And I really, really thank you for your interest and your engagement in this event. And I hope you will go away and obviously engage with us so that we can encourage the take-up of this, to add to the partners that are already delivering and the projects that are already happening in both sub-Saharan Africa and in South Asia. And we can look forward in a few years' time to being able to say this was the start of a major movement, and we were all part of it and proud to be here. So thanks very much indeed for your attendance, and I do hope we will be able to work together.
This is an important moment. We're all facing challenging times as the world's economies are thinking about how to rebuild after the COVID crisis. Many are asking the question of how we can build back better. My name is Adam Shaw, and I'm a journalist and TV presenter working for the BBC, ITV and others, and I specialise in looking around the world at how businesses, technologies and governments are responding to some of the biggest challenges we're facing in the world. And one of the biggest issues we're grappling with is whether in this enforced pause in business as normal, we should ask questions of ourselves, our partners, our customers and our businesses about whether there is a different way forward once the economy restarts. In finding those answers, it just might be that we come to a better way of running our economies and rebuilding our societies. Of course, there can be few more important questions than addressing the fundamental water poverty faced by millions around the world. You may have heard these numbers before, but they bear repeating, I think. Almost a third of people on Earth don't have running water at home, nor access to good sanitation. Less than 10% of the 300 million tonnes of plastic produced each year is recycled. These are huge challenges, but we've not come together today just to discuss the problems, but how we can make a difference, how we can use this opportunity to change the lives of people right around the world. For 5 years, I travelled the globe for a BBC series called Horizons. We looked at the technologies which could change the world. We looked at pollution, communication, technologies, agriculture, transportation, and of course, the problem of drinking water or the lack of it. I've got to say, I was worried about filming the whole TV series. I tend to be worried about all sorts of things, and I thought travelling the world and looking at the huge issues facing us would be something of a distressing experience. But surprisingly, it wasn't. It wasn't what I thought at all. Even in the water sector, what I thought I saw was cause for optimism. There were the mist or the fog gatherers of the Atacama Desert, where giant nets catch moisture from the air, turning fog into drinking water. There were the desalination technologies being used in the Israeli deserts to help chronic water shortages, and there were the Kickstarter water pumps in Africa, which provide cheap irrigation systems to local farmers. Even beyond that, when I interviewed Howard Buffett from one of the richest families in the world about the revolutions he sees in farming, or the ability to change the world we discussed when I interviewed Bill Gates about his intentions to do good beyond his Microsoft business. The theme that connects all of those conversations is not the difficulties of the challenges we face, but that the ability to overcome them is so close to our grasp, often so surprisingly close. I spoke to a man who now works in one of the Bill Gates charities who is trying to reinvent the toilet. His family came from a poor village in Africa and were almost all wiped out by poor sanitation. They didn't even understand the reason for their ill health. Now, of the scores of millionaires and the handful of billionaires I have interviewed, perhaps no one was more impressive than this relatively unknown man. From his family's personal tragedy, he set himself the task of understanding what is killing millions and working out a way to make it better. He is neither rich nor famous, but what he is trying to do could save the lives of millions of people around the world. It is an example that we don't have to be powerful to start making things better, to taking that first step. In our television series, what I found so surprising is that we often have the technology and the means to make the change we want to see. Sometimes what is stopping us is just the economics. It is often cheaper not to change the way we do things. Climate change, well, that may well change those economics, but the fact that you have joined us today for this convening is a sign, I think, of another change. A willingness of people around the world who, like the man I interviewed about creating better sanitation, are willing to take an extra step, not just to stand up for change, but to step forward, to begin a journey of change, to do something about it. I know that Water Unite believe that everyone can make a difference, and by attending today, I think you may feel the same as well. So as we welcome our speakers, I'm delighted to say we are here today not just to talk about the scale of the challenge, but our willingness to do something about it, and mark this time as the time we can do something to improve the lives of millions.